Grief is a refining process, and grief will reveal things about us, things that are difficult to see and even more challenging to own. As the shock of my loss started to lift, and I realized for the rest of my life I would no longer enjoy the physical presence of my son, I became inconsolable. I fell into a crisis of faith. A deep seated anger began to swell within me. I know God is all powerful. Nothing escapes his attention. God is sovereign, and yet he allowed my son to die in a tragic accident. Since the day I discovered I was pregnant with my son, I had daily prayed for Jordan. Among other things, I fervently asked God to protect him. Over Jordan's 23 years, I saw the Lord miraculously keep him from danger on many occasions. But on October 18th, 2012, Jordan died. Where was his protection? In his prayer journal, Jordan expressed his love for the Lord and all that his future held as a young married man. "Why now, Lord?" I'd scream. "Why him? He was following hard after you. Doesn't our country desperately need godly young adults? What were you thinking?" For a time, my anger turned into bitterness. Then I read a quote from C.S. Lewis that arrested me. It says, "Don't let your happiness depend on something you may lose." Our lives can change in an instant. We can lose our health, our spouse, our children, our job, our reputation, our money, our skills. We can lose everything important to us. If our identity and our meaningful purpose is linked to these things in a greater way than our relationship to Christ, that is idolatry. Losing something that has become an idol in our life leads to anger and bitterness. Being a mom to my son and daughter brought me great happiness. Children are a gift from God, no doubt about it. But I had elevated the wonderful gift of my children above the giver, Jesus Christ. My anger towards God in losing one of my kids revealed something about me. I was more of a fan of Jesus than a fully devoted follower. What I had forgotten was this: my Father God must be first place, my highest priority. And as his child, we will never lose his love, his presence, or his care. In return, though, he asks us to surrender everything to him. This may seem odd, but my crisis of faith became a blessing. It is always humbling and painful to be confronted with my sin, but for my spiritual vitality, it was necessary for God to reveal idolatry in my life that needed to be confessed and rooted out. My relationship with Jesus is deeper and more authentic than ever, and my anticipation of heaven has never been more acute. I can't wait to get there. My Father God and my Son are waiting for me.